another video. There are a lot of different powers in Wings of Fire, from controlling the actions of plants to even being able to have infinitely powerful magic. There's so much these dragons can do. However, there's one specific side to all of this that might actually be some of the worst to experience. While fire scales is obviously a nightmare, and one could argue animus magic often does more harm than good in these books, Clearsight's seer nature completely goes under the radar. She is one of the most powerful dragons to ever live, but why is her foresight something that could be considered a curse? And how did we almost lose this NightWing Dragonette along the way? I'll be discussing all of that and more with you all here today. But before we begin, a huge shout out to my patrons. Darker95, Thistle, Noopto, Pyronuke, Avril, Pancake, Escarada, Adequin, Alex Cleaver, Shadowhunter, That One Seawing, Moonclaw, Isaac, Iris, Minecraft Was 9, and Pantala Resident. Thank you all so much for supporting me. Links to their social medias are in the description down below. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. The birth of Clearsight is absolutely remarkable. As the novels taught us, Nightwings receive certain abilities depending on if they hatch beneath the moons. Those whose first silver light belongs to just one of the full moons will either possess gifts of prophecy or mind reading. Any hatched under 2 will receive both. But as we see in this series, Pyria and Pantala don't just have one moon, or even 2. There are 3 that rule the skies, and serve an importance far more mystical and vital than we give them credit for. If a Nightwing hatches beneath all 3 full moons, which is incredibly rare, they will not only have both abilities, but also their powers will be so much stronger. However, what makes Clearsight's birth remarkable is the fact that it actually wasn't. One of the most renowned figures in WoF history, a dragon who became a literal god to several tribes and possessed powers far surpassing what had ever been seen before in her kingdom, wasn't actually half moons. Not even 2. Clearsight's initial moonlight belonged to just 1 full moon, gifting her prophecy. Her parents thought they knew it was coming with their dragonette because of it, and were proud. But even from the beginning, they had no real way of understanding just how insane this seer sight would actually become. We know that the Nightwing tribe's power strength differs depending on the dragon. Even with an attempt at mastery, some will never be able to achieve the proficiency or quality with which their peers find. It does appear to be random. Maybe there could be a genetic link back in a character's history, but even if there is, it's not something the series has ever explored, and I don't know if it will, as much as I would love to learn about that. However, majority of dragons tend to experience their visions in a similar way. They'll see either a flash of the future, a glimpse into what may be, or made to tell the divine words of a prophecy. Clearsight was different. Rather than seeing usually just one path for any given scenario, which wouldn't even be guaranteed anyway, this young dragonette experienced her powers in a totally unheard of way. It even made the elders doubt what she could see. Clearsight's seer capabilities manifested as a sort of web she could always access. It practically consumed her, compiling new results with every thought or act. She was able to see into thousands of alternate realities at a time. Some were for big decisions, such as leaving Darkstalker's side. Others, however, were even for some of the smallest of things. Seeing so many potential outcomes became overwhelming, and understandably so. If something bad happened, Clearsight would blame herself for not mapping the correct future out to a different end. She would spend so many hours cooped up in her study, just trying to plan out the best result. No matter how hard anyone tried to get her to let things flow by, Clearsight obsessed over these decisions. She felt responsible, burdened in a way no dragon could ever understand. It was as if she was a goddess with heart and mind wholly human. These visions and prophecies didn't just cover things a week or two ahead. At one point, they stretched out to hundreds of years. Clearsight wasn't just told of her coming reality. She had to make it knowing everything that might happen. She described it as this: "It's not that simple. It's not, here's your life, that's the way it'll be. It's every possible life, all the things that could happen to me and the tribe, and it all depends on what I do next. But there are so many, I can't keep track, and the further I look into the future, the more confusing and random it gets." Thankfully, with time, Clearsight grew to develop a balance with her powers. She stopped hyperfixating on every detail to an unhealthy degree. Rather, she'd stopped to use her powers to help her descendants, even those she would never get to meet. But rather than stress about what she could not see, this great seer made peace with the uncertain. She traveled to Pantala, not even knowing exactly what would await her, other than a storm and some dragons in need of help. And for that, I am so happy for her growth. It's not easy to feel that weight loosening, but Clearsight never needed to have the whole world on her shoulders. As Listener taught her in the end, part of life is the beauty of not knowing. It's acting anyways, even when you feel scared. Even with the small things, or those that turn big. We don't have gifts of prophecy in our world to this level. But it's because we don't have to know. We can live, try, and grow. We can experience things rather than sit in a study cave and try to control what we really can't. And I want to thank Wings of Fire for really showing people that. What do you guys think about all this? Though Clearsight's abilities are stressful in a way I know most could never handle, I love how she made peace with the unknown before she died in loving talons. Both continents are so much better off for it. How would you fare with these powers? And what would you have done in Clearsight's claws? Let me know down below. I'm also very excited to say that my next map call is coming super soon, so stay tuned. I'll have the reveal and a whole channel takeover. Join my design contest too. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.